What's up, everybody? This is Brush Stranger here, and today we're breaking down the Transformers One official trailer. It feels like forever since Hasbro's given us anything about Transformers, especially during the 40th anniversary for Transformers, so it's great that we finally got this trailer. First of all, we're going to be doing a bit of a breakdown, and then the next video I'm going to give my thoughts and opinions and theories about the movie. Anyways, firstly, we got a scene of Orion Pax and D16, who I will explain in a second. They seem to be in a higher command center of the facility where they work, and we got some banter between them, and then clearly they're in trouble because Darkwing, the most obscure character that is in this movie so far, is here, and he takes them down to waste management facility due to the fact that they broke the rules and they're not where they're supposed to be. And he can actually transform, which is very interesting considering if you see the holes in their chest, protoforms in this movie cannot transform.
A protoform? Idiot! It's a Cybertronian without a vehicle form!
We get a scene of Optimus Prime and Megatron, the future versions of Orion Pax and D16, so for the rest of this video, I'm just going to call them Megatron and Optimus, just to make it simpler. Megatron is shown branding himself with an iron Decepticon logo. This is a really cool scene, I'm going to be honest, and I can't wait to see where this goes in the future. Next up, we see B-127, aka Bumblebee. Now, this is the name he was given in the Bumblebee movie before he became Bumblebee. Although this is not set in the reboot continuity, they are taking a few things from the reboot, which is very interesting. Next, we have our first look at the Energon weapons they will be using to mine Energon. And it's really weird because Orion Pax and Megatron are both miners in this, instead of, you know, Megatron being a miner and gladiator, and Orion Pax being the data clerk and librarian. We have Orion Pax, Megatron, and Bumblebee sneaking around at this train station where they're loading supposedly Energon. And we see a lot of characters, but I'm not going to try to name a lot of them here because honestly, they're protoforms and they could be anyone. Next, we see a shot of Iacon, and it looks incredible. And then we have Orion Pax and Megatron speaking, and Orion is trying to convince Megatron in order to go to the surface. Trying to convince him that there's actually more out there, and he needs to take a chance every now and then. And in the background, we see Icon 5000. Could this be a race like the Speedia 5000, which Cosmos is actually the flagman for, so that's pretty cool. I think it could very well be. Maybe the Quintessons actually use them for entertainment, not just for gladiator fights and for mining Energon, but also for other things like racing. And then Optimus says we should go to the surface, where more meets the eye, classic line. Then we get Megatron putting on a jetpack and asking Orion Pax why he gave him a jetpack. Now, I think this is the gladiator pits of Cant, because they're up pretty high. This seems like an area where you're looking down, and that looks like a battle arena to me. And although Megatron may or may not be a gladiator in this continuity, I think they'll still pay homage to him being a gladiator like he was in Prime and IDW. And Sentinel Prime and Darkwing, as well as a bunch of other Transformers, are trying to stop them from going to the surface and trying to get them back. We then see them all on a train that is going to the surface, which is very interesting because Cybertron and all of its cities seem to be inside the planet's crust, more so than on top of it like we've seen in other continuities. And the only time we ever really explore the inside of Cybertron is in stuff like War for Cybertron, Fall of Cybertron, and also Transformers: The War Within, if you've ever read that comic. Orion Pax, Elita 1, Bumblebee, and Megatron go absolutely flying after their train gets derailed. And we see a bunch of spikes that could be Energon, but I'm not completely sure. Next we see the open landscape of above Cybertron, which doesn't have cities and it's more wilderness, and I'll get to it in a minute, but a lot of people are very confused on the surface of Cybertron. But we see this beautiful vaporwave, which is right behind the train where our heroes are on, along with Aurora Borealis, localized entirely within Cybertron. Yes. We get another shot of all the characters together, and then we see them look at a strange-looking Robo-Deer. Now, this is something a lot of people don't know or are taking gripes with. The fact that there are wildlife on Cybertron, but if you play the War for Cybertron games, read any comics, or watch some TV shows, there is not just Transformers, there are also different kinds of animals, like octopuses, space slugs, and crab weird things, and now there's Turbo Foxes and Robo-Deer, which I think is pretty cool and adds a lot to Cybertron, because it'd be kind of boring if Earth was just humans and not like squirrels and octopuses and fish and like all this other creatures, and I think it makes Cybertron feel more believable as a planet. They track down a deer, chase it into a corner, and then unfortunately it gets nuked by the Death Star. I don't know what actually shot it. Megatron looks very sad as they go into the cave, which is actually the tomb of the Primes. Primes were the original 13 Cybertronians that, in one way or another, influenced Transformers as we know it today. Like Onyx Prime here, he is actually the reason why, if you ever see a Transformer turn into a beast-like creature, you have him to thank, because he is kind of the king of beast modes and has passed it down through the generations. Now, whether they were killed because they died of old age, or the Quintessons actually had a hand in murdering the Primes so that they can take over the planet easier, is yet to be seen. There are a few other Primes in this tomb, along with Megatronus, aka the Fallen, who has kind of like Tarn's face from IDW, and has the Decepticon symbol for mask/face, which is very interesting, because that is where Megatron supposedly is going to be getting the idea for the modern Decepticons, and uses that logo for it. They meet Alpha Trion, who is a wolf in this continuity, interestingly enough. He seems to be giving them T-Cogs, which the Quintessons have stolen. That is why there is a giant gaping hole in everyone's chest who can't transform. The T-Cog is essentially a transformation cog, which is an organ that the Transformers have in order to transform. It allows them to scan vehicles and change their bodies into whatever they need. We see them getting powered up here, and we have the designs of the characters with alt modes now. We see some Viacons overlooking Orion Pax and his friends trying to learn how to transform for the first time. And it seems like Steve, aka the Viacons, are back from Prime, which is very interesting, but they seem to be completely loyal to the Quintessons and be the Quintesson Guard. They learn how to transform, and we get some cool vehicle modes. Megatron seems to be a tank of some sort. There's a hover truck for Optimus, and then we got Bumblebee, who is very similar to his Bumblebee movie Cybertron appearance. And Elita 1 is a futuristic Cybertronian two-wheeler. They eventually get out. Optimus says that doesn't look good, and the Quintesson ship has landed on Cybertron. Quintessons get out and interrogate our good buddy Sentinel Prime, who is in fact looking for answers why Orion Pax and his friends have alt modes now, or at least that's what I'm assuming, and why they're not working in the factory. And they are seen attacking Sentinel Prime because he is incompetent as all is. And I really dig these Quintesson designs, actually. Another thing I'd like to mention about these scenes is the fact that there seems to be different kinds of quintessons, and we could be seeing the alligator and sharkticons here, and they seem to have a grip on the planet. Now, in one of the continuities, the quintessons actually scan the planet and learn that they can transform. And then, when brought to the planet, they claim to be the gods of the Transformers. And to prove it, they decide to tell them how to transform, and who to transform and what they transform into. Transformers, not knowing they could do this, try it out, and this is just one way that the quintessons manipulated the Transformers, and it seems like they have a stranglehold on what they are doing. In G1, they use them in order to make goods so they can sell it to other factions and other planets, but then they rise up against the quintessons. That is what's going to be happening in this movie, and we see a lot of rebellion and war against the quintessons in this movie, along with an explosion which has Arachnid from Transformers Prime, which is a very interesting character to have in this series. I think she's going to be Team Quintesson. Next up, we have a Quintesson camp of some sort that's getting blown up. We have Elita 1 kicking butt, killing poor Steve. And we have the classic trio of the Decepticons, Starscream, Shockwave, and Soundwave, all sitting at the Decepticon throne. I'm assuming this is in the future, because Megatron is probably going to found the Decepticons. It'd be a bit weird if it was Starscream. But then we have Skywarp fighting against some Quintessons and some other Transformers that are probably aligned with the Quintessons. And I think that is about it for the trailer. I'm really excited to see this movie. I need to see another trailer to kind of, get a better feel for this movie. The first trailer we got was alright, but I personally need to see another trailer. I hope you guys have a great day. I hope you're enjoying the hype season of Transformers One. It started. My thoughts and opinions will be in the next video. I love you guys. See you then. Bye, guys.